Hello Blitzers, the Muffin here. Welcome back, a subscriber request for tips and tricks for the SU-152. Now there are two cannons with this, the 122 millimeter 400 average damage cannon, the 152 millimeter 640 average damage cannon. I personally go more for the fun rather than the DPM. So in these two replays, I've got the 152 millimeter strapped on here. But really, in terms of knowing how to play with this tank is, first of all, knowing your role. So you are a tank destroyer, meaning you want to be putting yourselves in positions to support your team. You want to be moving with them. You're not going rogue to one side of the map while your team goes another. You can easily get circled of death. This thing doesn't have a turret. You do have some good points of armor, but there are definitely some weak points. If you do come across enemies that know what they're doing, you're going to get ripped apart. So know your role. As a tank destroyer, you want to keep in mind at all times the way that you're positioning yourselves is in a way to support your team. So in this, at the beginning of this one, my team here is just falling apart, but I'm moving with them. Now using HE right there, I do a tips and tricks guide on how to use HE rounds. HE is also a huge factor because you can do such a larger amount of output with that. So here I'm also using my third person view. So before I pop out, as I'm paying attention and looking for shots to take, I'm using that third person view to see where the enemies are, where my team is, who's distracted, maybe not paying attention to me. And that'll allow me to poke out and make those shots, make those calls. I'm also using a lot of the landscape, or in this case, a dead friend. And when I'm looking at this, I see the RHM, he was trying to angle and look at me. I'm looking at now the team is just absolutely falling apart here. And so this is kind of one of the fun things about the SU is, I'm just going in here for the RHM just to try to get rid of him as quick as possible. You can wipe him out. I can do that with just one shot here. But really, when you're playing with the SU, not only being that supportive role, but here, if you also end up face hugging a tank, your gut mantlet is actually very, very strong. And if you use your third person view, you can angle your gut mantlet toward wherever the enemy is pointing their cannon, and you can actually end up bouncing rounds on this thing. So you do have, if you look at the strengths and weaknesses of the ISU, it's got decent maneuverability. It has an okay armor profile that can have some weak points that can be harder for some, easier for others to hit, if not aiming. But with the 152 millimeter cannon, your accuracy's okay, not the greatest, so being a little bit more up closer in that supportive role does help. Now, here in this second replay, once again, I'm paying attention to my team. I'm watching where they're going. We're starting to spot some enemies over here, so I'm moving with my team. And I don't want to be too far back using the 152 millimeter just because of the accuracy is just not as good. But here I start noticing my friend, the SU-100Y, in trouble. So I'm trying to get myself over there as quick as possible. We have enough team members over there. I don't know what this SU-100Y was doing, but I'm trying to support him. I'm trying to look for areas that need support or I can get to quicker. So in all my tips and tricks replays, basically what you're trying to do is put your tank in a position to utilize your tank's strengths and expose your enemy's tank's weakness. And I'm also, as I had mentioned, using the landscape. I'm trying to protect myself. I do have some bouncy areas of my tank, but why risk it? I don't want to be trying to trade that. I'm also, once again, using my third-person view. I'm paying attention to where that SU-100 is over on the left, where this VK is in front of me. He's distracted, so we are able to pop a shot there. I want to be able to help my team. I'm kind of paying attention to how they're doing over there on this side. I want to rush over and try to get rid of this guy as quick as possible and delete him. So it really is, you have to be thinking at all times when you're positioning yourself going from one area to the other, how can I support my team and what they're doing and where they're going, being within that circumference, paying attention, looking to where you can come in and really play that supportive role. Because as a tank destroyer, that is really the role of a tank destroyer. You don't want, like I said, you don't want to be rogue, going completely alone by yourself, because you can expose your weakness and having faster tanks flank you. And you don't want to be up on the front lines where a heavy tank per se necessarily would be, because you do have weak points and you can get deleted quite quickly by players that know what they're doing. So Muffin here, stay cool, keep tanking.